Hello, my lovely peaches. I just finally finished and posted the video, Wendy with an I for Guilty AF. And then right after that, I watched a video on Dr. G's channel, which I'm about to show a clip of because he pulled out the perfect part where she literally says in her police interview that she does sometimes go by Dan's house to go, and sometimes she goes around. So Charlie's jailhouse calls, he talks about she literally has no idea how to go anywhere. She has to drive past her old house just to get her bearings, even though she's capable of driving 9 hours away every other week, there and back. Even though, yeah, her mom and dad come and they get her and they go, she still technically knows how to drive, like, a long way. She's also lived elsewhere for a whole year now. And she also says in her police interview that sometimes she does drive around another way. So there is no way to believe with beyond, like, there's absolutely no reasonable doubt possible to think that the only liquor store she can go to is that one, and the only way she can manage to get there is by driving by her old house, which she has to go the long way around when she was like on the road. So I'm just going to play this little clip from Dr. G's video, and then I'm going to show portions of her police interview. Okay, enjoy. Okay, so this is Dr. G Explains, and subscribe to him. Give him a like. He's amazing. He is a body language and much more expert. Okay, so this is a video that he made about unanswered questions. Listen.
Hey everybody, Dr. G here. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and body language expert, and today we're going to be analyzing more from Wendy Adelson.
Up on Centerville.
So now she's talking about why she drove down Trescott Road, which obviously is where Dan Markell was murdered.
Road. What's your purpose of driving down Trescott?
It's usually the shortcut to get to Monroe.
To get to Monroe?
I usually take it as a cut through to get to Thomasville or Monroe.
Okay, all right, so you...
I don't know why I said Monroe. I was thinking Mosaic Monroe. Thomasville.
Okay, so when you come down into town on Centerville...
I almost always cut through Trescott.
To get to Monroe?
I usually take it as a cut through to get to Thomasville or Monroe.
Okay, all right, so you...
I don't know why I said Monroe. I was thinking Mosaic Monroe. Thomasville.
Okay, so when you come down into town on Centerville...
I almost always cut through Trescott.
Trescott and just drive by your old house?
Well, I do it as a way of, like, coming to terms with a divorce. But, yeah, sometimes I drive there. If I'm too sad, I drive around.
So that...
Listen to that again.
Okay. Okay, all right, so you...
I don't know why I said Monroe. I was thinking Mosaic Monroe. Thomasville.
Okay, so when you come down into town on Centerville...
I almost always cut through Trescott.
Trescott and just drive by your old house?
Well, I do it as a way of, like, coming to terms with a divorce. But, yeah,
House?
Well, I do it as a way of, like, coming to terms with a divorce. But,
Did you hear that?
Well, I do it as a way of, like, coming to terms with a divorce. Sad, I drive around.
On Centerville?
I almost always cut through Trescott.
Trescott and just drive by your old house?
Well,
Okay, so just to clarify, these words were edited by Dr. G, and it's so perfect. I'm going to talk about it for a second. First of all, I really want to look at her expression.
I don't know why I said Monroe. I was thinking Mosaic Monroe. Thomasville.
Okay, so when you come down into town on Centerville...
I almost always cut through Trescott.
Trescott and just drive by your old house?
Well, I do it as a way of, like, coming to terms with a divorce. But, yeah, sometimes I drive there. If I'm too sad, I drive around.
Sad, I drive around.
So there's a couple
of... Divorce, but...
By your old house?
Well, I do it as a way of, like, coming to terms with a divorce. But, yeah, sometimes I drive there. If I'm too sad, I drive around.
So there's a couple of reasons she's now provided as to why she drives by the house. One, she says it's a shortcut. Okay, she says that oftentimes. She's repeated that many times. That the other thing she said, which she hasn't repeated many times, is it helps her come to terms with the divorce. And that when she's too sad about the divorce, she in fact drives around a different way. Now that's very surprising given how challenging the divorce was.
I love Dr. G.
I drive around.
I highly recommend him.
Still.
Okay, so when you
But
come
I
down,
have a different
you-
point to
I
make
was
about
thinking about
this,
the egg
which is she knows how to go. Also, this is a point where she's looking at her phone. Dr. G thinks that she's looking at her call log and potentially makes this expression because she's surprised to see her call log. I think, however, it might have been because she realized Dan had left her a voicemail and she hadn't heard it yet. So she was sort of surprised that she's going to have to listen to it.
What is it that startled her? Was it looking at the fact that she called Charlie? Was there something
So
that
watch.
made her think of something startling? Very
I
interesting.
think it's
We'll
the
watch that one more
message
time.
from Dan. It's
He left me a message. I called him.
that right there.
Think of something startling. Very interesting. We'll watch that one more time.
He left me a message. I called him.
Water. So my thought was that she says she got a message from Dan and then she goes, because she realizes that he's dead and there's a voicemail she hasn't heard yet. And also she probably was ignoring his calls. So I said I wouldn't make it 2 hours, and I think that it is 2 hours. And the only last thing I want to say is maybe Dr. G was correct that her gasps was at the fact of her realizing, I put this here, turning off the lights, except for these. Maybe she really was realizing maybe she really did realize. Oh my God, I lied. I said I don't think I spoke to anybody, but I was literally on the phone all day, including with Charlie. All right, so looking at this right here, this is the ABC liquor store. This is the store, this is the street, Benton, that she said she didn't feel like going all the way down. Okay, so here's Trescott. So she's saying Centerville. So she's trying to say that she's coming down this road and she's going to this store. This is Benton. So she's claiming that Trescott is a shortcut cut through. Okay, so you can go down this way to Benton, to the store, or you go this way, then you go down Trescott, which is literally look, watch. Looping all the way around here. How is that a shortcut? A cut through. Look, you're going up and. So how is this? Let's see. I'm going to actually do it. Let's see if we go from here. And then let's get directions. All right, I'm just curious. Let's see. So if we go from here to here, it's taking us that way, and it says it's 3 minutes, 1.2 miles. If we go, wow, that's long. Okay, if we go from there to there, then let's drag this. Maybe it is a shortcut. Let's see. All right, let me see if I can drag it up to Trescott. Okay, and then that is 1.3 miles. It's 4 minutes without traffic. So she's saying this is a cut through instead of this, which seems a lot more direct to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Let's see if we can do street view. Okay, we're going to go here. Boom. Okay, we're on Centerville Road. Let's go down. All right, we're driving. Oh, that's Trescott. Okay, so I guess I'm going down Trescott. Which way? Okay, so this is going down Trescott. Speed hump. That slows you down. Whoop, which way? Okay. Go this way. This is the cut through, she claims. Another speed bump, okay. Okay. So according to her brother, she doesn't know how to go the more direct route. She only knows how to get her bearings by going past her old house. Even though she said right in her interview, sometimes I go this way, sometimes I go the other way. So somewhere along here is Danny's house. This is the route to the liquor store she supposedly took. Well, then she had to turn around and go back. So because this road was blocked, she added an extra 2 miles to her trip. Which way is this going? Okay, so now we get to the end. Which way do we have to go? Let's see. I think now we have to go. Okay, now we get to Benton. Benton. Okay. And where's the store? Is it here? Okay, so that's the actual liquor store. So that was going Trescott. All right, now let me see what happens if I try to go the other way, the supposedly more direct route. All right, which way is this guy facing? All right, we're going to go, instead of going down Trescott, we're going to go down Benton. Or Centerfield to Benton. Okay, let's see. This is the route that supposedly was too complicated for her to know how to do. Whoops, don't crash. Okay, hold on. Okay, so center field gets to the end where now you have to turn on to Benton. Okay, and you go this way. Seems pretty straightforward. So this is the street that she supposedly couldn't figure out how to drive. Just basically just keep going straight and then make that turn. And then boom, you're right back to the liquor store. So Charlie is trying to claim that she was so incapable of figuring that out that she had to drive past her old house. Okay, so when we look at this again, and we see that the route that she was supposedly incapable of taking was to just continue straight and then make this turn. And instead, she had to go down her old winding road of an old street to get to here. That is what she's claiming, and her brother's claiming. And her mother's claiming as well. Okay, so thank you, floridapolitics.com. They put together this, and that shows that this is where she was living at the time, Aqua Ridge Road. This is where she had lunch at Mosaic, and she could have gone to Publix Liquors or Market Square Liquors, and it was much closer to where she lived. And that's what I'm saying. She lived here for a year already, so why would she only know how to go through these winding roads down here all the way to here? Why? Okay, so that was what I had just showed you. So the route of her going from here or going the other way, that way. And then I wanted to just show, okay, so from where she came all the way down to there, compared to where she was, there was a liquor store. So she lives up here. She lives up here. She came all the way down here past her old house to go to her liquor store all the way down there when there was a liquor store up here. And there was also another liquor store. So I tried to find the Mosaic, the restaurant where she had lunch with her girlfriends, where she was picked up, and it must be no longer there, but it was somewhere in between these two places. So you've got her home, Aqua Ridgeway in Tallahassee, okay, up here, and you've got Publix liquor store, and you've got the other Mosaic, okay, and she decides to drive all the way down there to go to a liquor store when she was right there. Okay, so 14 minutes drive. All right, and if we take off one of those, okay, so now you've got 10 minutes away from her house to the liquor store and then the restaurant, which was literally somewhere right around here. And yet she chose to drive So she chose to drive from her place where she'd been living for a year. Okay, so just showing if she had chosen to go to the Market Square liquor store and find wine, which was there's her old place. It says it was an 11-minute drive, 3.8 miles away from her home. And it also was close to where she was having lunch. Here, Mosaic, which I don't see it currently. Okay, so there's that option. It's an 11-minute drive. It's 3.8 miles away. And if we add and if she were to go back home, okay, so going there and back is 23 minutes. It's almost 8 miles, 7.5, little over 7.5 miles to go from her house to the liquor store and back home. And it takes 23 minutes. She could have gone to ABC Fine Wine and Spirits that was closer, round trip 9.6 miles, 23 minutes near her home. So there was that option. So if you search for ABC Wine and Liquor by her home, it automatically wants to take you to this one because it's closer. It's 5 miles away. It's 11-minute drive, round trip. Round trip 23 minutes, okay? Then you've got this option where she actually went way down there. And okay, so instead of 23 minutes, it's 27 minutes, 30 minutes. But then you add to the fact that she went by Trescott Drive. She added even more time to the route. And if she were to take Trescott again and then go home, because does that mean that she needs to do that to go home as well? Now you got 28 minutes. Okay, so she's claiming that this is the way she's got to go when she could have driven to a liquor store 5 minutes from the restaurant she was going to instead. You'd think a lawyer would have an analytical mind. If you had such a contentious divorce, why would you want to be driving all the way down there and adding that extra time when you really don't need to? Like, it just doesn't make sense and it doesn't add up. And Charlie claiming that she didn't know how to go anywhere else when she lived here for an entire year. So you know how to go have lunch at Mosaic with your girlfriends. And you know how to go from here down to here to the liquor store. And then what did you go, like, how did she go? Did she go from here? Did she go up here to get to, I think she did say she took Thomasville. So you know how to get around, but yet you don't know how to get around. Okay. And so there's that. Now I'm going to go back to Mentor Lawyer's video that he shared of Wendy Adelson's police interview. And I'm going to just show some clips. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about it. But I don't want this video to turn into a 2-hour saga like the last one. But no promises. So see where this takes us. All right, down another rabbit hole we go. So this is, as I've said, on Mentor Lawyers Deep Dive True Crimes page. And it's called Interrogation of then Law Professor Wendy Adelson, hours after Dan Markel was shot. And the video starts at 2:46 p.m. on Friday, July 18th, 2014. And let me see. And the interrogation goes until about 5 hours later, 7:50 p.m. the same night. This is the only police interview that she gave that I know of, unless she did a deposition or something else. But 2 days, so this was Friday, and Dan died just after midnight, July 19th. And then Sunday, they had a memorial, and 48 hours after that, she was moved with her children down to South Florida. Okay, so I am going to search in the transcript for points where she says specific things, but I want to just press play because I was curious. One of the questions that I had was, what did he tell her? What did she know? When did she listen to the voicemail? I was wondering if she had listened to the voicemail at the restaurant before the cops came to get her, because she says she thought she was a suspect in the car. But then here she's listening to the voicemail. So it looks like right here, this is the very beginning. And it looks like she's listening to her phone. But did she listen to the voicemail already? I don't know. And then Detective Isom comes in.
I just listened to my voicemail.
What'd you hear? Who was your voicemail?
It's from Lisa Carey, who...
Okay, so this, she says this is her real estate agent, Lisa Carey. So Lisa Carey says there was a shooting on Trescott. She doesn't know. She's just calling. She's not trying to be dramatic or anything. And I don't know if she had already listened to it. Okay. So the first time I watched it, I thought it was really, really ridiculous, quite how wordy she was, over-explaining. Okay, but right now...
I have no reason at this point to suspect you in this.
This is 27 minutes in. Hold on. All right, let's see what we find.
Wendy with an I. Jill. I. Jill. S-O-N. Okay. Wendy with an I.
Wendy with an I.
Jill. I. There was a shooting at your home, or your ex-husband's home at 20. There was a shooting at your home, or your ex-husband's home.
Sorry.
At
Let me go back.
all right. There was a shooting at your home, or your ex-husband's home at 2116 Trescott. Okay. Your ex-husband, Daniel, all right, has been taken to the hospital. He's not going to survive.
Oh my God!
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Did she just say I'm sorry? Wait. I can't really tell what she's saying.
Well,
What happened?
before we get... Well, before we get into everything, I have to establish where you were and who you were with and so forth. Okay, and then once we've established all that, I can give you more details. Do you understand why I wanted you to come here before I discuss this?
When we see somebody genuinely grieving, it usually evokes feelings inside of us of sympathy, etc. When we see somebody faking, it usually makes us feel the what the F feeling.
All right, so we're in 3 minutes in to this. She said what happened, and he said, before I can give you any details, I need to know where you were, and now she's crying and stuff, but... Okay, so... She's talking about there was trees. She thought there were trees. I'm looking at the captions. She wasn't paying a lot of attention. Okay, so he says to her, do you know anybody who would have a beef against your husband? And it looks like she's about to say me.
Close to the intersection there.
Okay. All right, and then from that point, you went straight to the
Went to Mosaic
Mosaic restaurant?
and met friends there. I used to have kind of a steady Friday meeting, and I had...
Thank you, Wendy. Another good point. I used to have kind of a steady Friday meeting, which confirms she knows how to get there. She's gone there regularly. There's 3 liquor stores, ABC Liquors, Market, and Publix, all within 5 minutes of that restaurant that she used to have kind of a steady Friday meeting. So, no, I don't believe that you don't know how to go to any other liquor store. I don't.
Hold on. Did I skip? All right, so I'm back at the beginning, and let's hear her say this. Sorry, my laptop is whirring in the background.
And I don't think I talked to anyone else, but I was just
That was a
working
lie.
for an hour or so from the house.
Maybe that's what
I
she
was gonna take a
gasped.
shower, but I didn't. I ran out of time. I did laundry, and then I left the house around noon.
To go to the liquor store and the stuff for the party?
Yeah.
Okay, you went down which road you said?
I went down Trescott.
Okay.
I saw a police car there, and I just thought it was blocked, so I just turned around and drove to, I went down the rest of Centerville, went up Benton, took Benton across, went to ABC Liquors, bought the bourbon.
I'm a little confused. You're up on Centerville Road. What's your purpose of driving down Trescott?
It's usually the shortcut to get
Oh.
to Monroe.
To get to Monroe?
I usually take it as a cut through to get to Thomasville or Monroe.
Okay, all right, so you...
I don't know why I said Monroe. I was thinking Mosaic, Monroe, Thomasville.
Okay, so when you come down into town on Centerville,
I almost always cut through Trescott.
and just drive by your old house?
Well, I do it as a way of, like, coming to terms with a divorce. But yeah, sometimes I drive there. If I'm too sad, I drive around.
Okay.
If the kids aren't home and I know they're not home, I feel better about driving by the house. But yeah, it's shorter, and I just usually drive by.
It's shorter than going all the way down to Benton.
All the way down Centerville and around Benton. It's just
Right.
a shortcut I always took.
Okay, so you turned around and went back to Centerville, I take it?
Yeah.
Down to Benton, and went to the liquor store down there on Thomasville?
Yeah.
The one at Benton Road?
ABC Liquors, it's at, yeah, Benton.
All right, so this is just the evidence that I was talking about, that she does know how to go another way. She's literally saying sometimes she goes one way, sometimes she goes...
Trescott.
Okay.
I thought it was blocked, so I just turned around and drove.
But the way she's doing that
Thought it was
breath,
blocked, so I just turned around and drove to, I went down the rest of Centerville, went up Benton across, went to ABC Liquors, bought the bourbon.
I'm a little confused. You're up on Centerville Road. What's your purpose of driving?
Not only does she know how to go other ways, she knows the names of the roads.
So when you come down into town on Centerville,
I almost always cut through Trescott.
and just drive by your old house?
Well, I do it as a way of like coming to terms with the divorce. But yeah, sometimes I drive there. If I'm too sad, I drive around.
Okay.
If the kids aren't home and I know they're not home, I feel better about driving by the house. But yeah, it's shorter and I just usually drive by.
It's shorter than going all the way down to Benton.
All the way down Centerville and around Benton. It's just a shortcut I always took.
Okay, so you turned around and went back to Centerville, I take it?
Yeah.
Down to Benton and went to the liquor store down there on Thomasville?
Yeah.
The one at Benton Road?
ABC Liquors, it's at, Benton. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, did you make a purchase there?
Yeah.
And that was sometime after 12?
Probably 12:30.
Okay. All right.
And I talked to a guy there because I don't really buy much alcohol, and so they wanted bourbon, and I asked the guy, we had a whole conversation about bourbon and my eyes. Like,
your eyes?
He just said, your eyes are really blue.
Right.
And
you have contacts?
I do.
Okay, an hour later, she's with the victim advocate.
I feel like you and I look a little bit of like, do you see this as you're looking at my face? I have very pretty blue eyes.
I thought this was bizarre. The first time I saw this, I was like, what?
Right about parenting effectively. So if my parents were here, they could help me. They're really close with the kids, so they could help me. I feel like you and I look a little bit of like, do you see this as you're looking at my face? I have very pretty blue eyes. They're much bluer than mine. But I feel like, anyway, it's like looking at my sister, similar hair. I must look awesome right now, but when
Okay, now we go.
The boys have blue eyes. Danny has blue eyes too.
That's a very terrible old way that.
I discussed as I walked over, and he was like, "Can I see your ID?" And I was like, "Oh, why are you laughing? I could be 18." I was like, and so I was like, "I love to be asked how old I am." I'm like, "I'm old as dirt. Here you go." And so I handed it to him, and he's like, "You're not old."
Okay.
So anyway, we had like a little banter, and he was like, "Your eyes are so blue," and I was like, "Thank you." And then I left. So, yeah. So anyway, we had like a little banter, and he was like, "Your eyes are so blue."
Wait, okay, so this conversation is happening right as he has Jeffrey Lacosse's photo that she's about to sign to say, yes, I am saying that this picture is Jeffrey Lacoste. And she's also saying in here that she considers him a suspect. So she's giving the banter about her blue eyes right before she's signing this.
Blue, and I was like, "Thank you," and then I left. So, yeah.
Will you put his name underneath there, please?
This is so creepy.
Just print his name.
Sure is creepy. Wendy.
That looks like him as a student. I wonder if that's like...
Oh, will you sign it as you're saying that's who Jeff Lacoste is?
Do you want me to like...
Just sign your name and the date.
Okay.
Creepy with an eye. Then later she says, isn't it so weird he looks like a mugshot?
I just want to confirm
Okay.
who this person is.
Yeah.
Call your focus.
Okay. I really don't want to make that call.
I know, but
I know, I just
you
like...
can wait if
She
you want
keeps
to.
doing
I
his
know
face.
this person is.
Yeah.
Call your focus.
Okay. I really don't want to make that call.
I know, but
Okay. I really don't want to make that call.
I know, but
I know, I just
you
like...
can wait if you want to.
No,
I feel
just-
like I was holding you up. So.
You were, and
I was, okay.
No, I mean, I want them here. I don't want to tell them what happened and what's going on because they're very emotional.
Well,
And they're not driving. Well, that's the thing is like they're gonna now get in the car for 8 hours and come up. And
are they both very emotional? Is one more emotional?
my mom's more emotional. My dad's more of a straight shooter. Well, people must really know now because I just got a text from someone that said, "I know everyone's calling you right now, but could this really be happening?"
I just talked with Alan, and he asked me, he was going to take the kids by the house to get some clothes, and said that they have a key but don't know your alarm code.
I didn't set the alarm when I left.
Okay. That makes
But
it easy.
if it goes off, it's 10:13.
Okay.
Just said your eyes are really blue,
Right.
and
You have contacts?
I do.
Okay.
But I just remembered it.
Right.
So I bought the bourbon and got some gas on Thomasville and met my friends at Mosaic.
Which gas station did you go to on Thomasville?
The one that's, I always forget the name, but the one that's close to the cross street. It's right next to the Goodwill.
Okay.
If you're heading north on Thomasville,
If you're heading north on Thomasville, it's on your right.
Okay. Just past the Goodwill
Just
place?
past the Goodwill. It's close to the intersection there.
Okay.
Now let's see when she talks about her brother. Okay, so now we are 19, almost 20 minutes in to the interview.
My brother, this morning, my parents are in Coral Springs.
Okay.
And my brother, I have two brothers, but I'm very close to one of them who is in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. All right.
All right, I'm going to just see, making the captions a little smaller.
In Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. All right. So that's where you're from originally, I take it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
His family's in Canada. Did they know? Did you tell them?
No, they haven't been notified
Oh my
yet.
God. His parents are going to be devastated.
And I'm jumping ahead.
My brother, the one, his name's Charlie, the one I'm really close to.
Hold on. Back up.
Would you ever ask someone to do something? Oh, are you saying that you think
Go
maybe
back.
one
Okay,
of your friends would
so-
have done something like this?
Who would do this? Okay, so here we are. Now we are 20 minutes in. This is what I was saying. She threw her motherfucking brother under the motherfucking bus. 20 minutes in, y'all. 20 minutes in. Let's see. Okay, so let me go back to here.
For you to get the kids, or we'll get the kids somehow, okay? Because the kids are at daycare, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to need their mother,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll get the kids somehow, okay? Because the kids are at daycare, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to need their mother,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay. I got to get a form for you to sign, and then I'm going to get the phone started, okay?
Oh my God. I have a lot of friends.
I know.
How do you know that?
Well, you had two of them up there for a last-minute lunch date, right?
Last minute.
Well, I mean, you went up there. You're sitting with them. You have friends.
I do. What I meant by it is that Danny didn't treat me very well. And I'm
Okay.
so scared that maybe someone did this. Not because they hate Danny, but because they thought this was good somehow.
Oh, are you saying that you think maybe one of your friends would have done something
Who
like
would
this?
do this?
I don't know. That's why you're here, and that's why we're talking.
This was good somehow.
Here, listen again.
Oh, are you saying that you think maybe one of your friends would have done something
Who
like
would
this?
do this?
I don't know. That's why you're here, and that's why we're talking.
20 minutes in.
Would you ever ask someone to do something like this?
Not in a million years.
Okay. Do you think someone would do this for
What?
your benefit?
Let me look at that a little closer.
Would
Wait,
you
wait.
ever ask someone?
Wait, hold
Would
on.
you
I just
ever
see
ask
that
someone
goofy
to do
face.
something like
Hold on,
this?
I'm
Not
sorry.
in a million years.
Sorry, Detective Bison. Let me put you in there. Hold on. Wait, that ugly face.
That's why you're here, and that's why we're talking. Would you ever ask someone to do something like this?
Not in a million years.
Okay. Do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you?
No.
No, I paid
What
them.
good does it serve?
I made my brother, the one his name's Charlie, the one I'm really close to. He makes a lot of jokes in bad taste, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay to fix it or whether I should get a new one, and it was always this joke that, like, he knew Danny treated, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay to fix it or whether I should get a new one, and it was always this joke that, like, he knew Danny treated me badly, and it was always this joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman, and it was cheaper to get you this TV, so instead I got you this TV.
Wow. I'm watching. Look. That's backwards. She's smiling. Do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking? Is she delighted that he thinks it's without her asking?
Would you ever ask someone to do something like this?
Not in a million years.
Okay. Do you think someone would do
Smile.
this for your benefit without asking you?
No.
Look at her, look at her. Okay, so we get to see the duper's delight when he asks her, would anybody ever do this without asking? And she smiles. And he, listen.
Never do something like this. Never.
Well, you guys have been divorced for over a year. Has there been any type of abuse in that time?
Of him towards me?
Yeah.
No.
It's only me abusing
He's
him.
litigious,
Okay,
and we
wait.
have an ongoing case.
That was me. Let's see. Such a horrible thing to say she's saying about the joke. Even though she'd like to repeat it. Hold on, where was that spot? Okay, this is like Inception because this is me filming the video of me filming the video. But because I'm catching her expression while he's asking her these questions. Watch. I mean, it's blurry. I wish it wasn't blurry. I really wish that we could see much clearer, but
Would you ever ask someone to do something like this?
Not in a million years.
Okay.
not in a million years. And then look. Look right there. You can see that she's smiling. I'm going to zoom in even more if I can. Would you ever ask someone to do this?
Would you ever ask someone to do something like this?
Not in a million years.
Okay. Do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you?
No.
I paid
What good does it serve?
I made my brother, the one his name's Charlie, the one I'm really close to.
Hold on. Let me go back. That face is so insane. Okay, look. I'm going backwards. Forwards now.
I made my brother, the one whose name's Charlie, the one I'm really close to, he makes a lot of jokes in bad taste, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay to fix it or whether I should get a new one, and it was always this joke that, like, he knew Danny treated that. So it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay to fix it or whether I should get a new one, and it was always this joke that, like, he knew Danny treated me badly, and it was always this joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman, and it was cheaper to get you this TV, so instead I got you this TV.
Another smile while she's talking to Charlie about the TV and whether she should fix it or get a new one. And then there's a little smile. And if you think about the TV is code for, maybe it's code for work it out with Danny or kill him. Fix it or kill him. Fix this broken TV. Fix this broken situation, or just kill it. And I want to show her face.
Whether it made sense to pay to fix it or whether I should get a new one, and it was always...
So right there, going backwards. Okay, and now we're gonna go slow motion forward to look at this smile. I see. I'm gonna do it twice so you can see the words, and then I'll zoom in even more. Okay, going backwards. Okay, I'm going to zoom in as much as I can. I know this is not the best quality, but I'm still just trying to get All right, let me go back and play it one more time.
He makes a lot of jokes in bad taste, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay to fix it or whether I should get a new one, and it was always this joke that, like, he knew Danny treated.
Also, the way she worded it was weird. He bought a TV for me this morning that got broken. He bought a TV for me this morning that got broken. But he didn't buy the TV that morning. And it didn't get broken that morning. I don't know exactly when it got broken, but if what I read on the internet is true, it was broken a few weeks before, which was another thing that was weird, which makes sense. Right, because Jeffrey Lacoste said he was going over to watch a movie with her, but then he also said that they had 2 weeks off break because she said, I need 2 weeks off, and she was down in South Miami. I'm assuming probably getting prepared to move there. They were probably getting everything they needed, knowing you'll be moving here with 2 little babies, and they were probably preparing Donna and Harvey's house. I bet you they were getting Harvey and Donna's apartment ready. So, okay, Jeffrey Lacoste said they had 2 weeks break because she was down in South Florida, and they were also taking the 2 weeks off to think about things, which was per her request. So she's probably down there getting the apartment ready because she knows that she's coming. Like I said in the other video yesterday, how can you move 2 little boys and yourself within 2 days with no planning or forethought or premonition or foreshadowing, which was the word that I could not think of. The word that Charlie used, which I guess was the word that Georgia Kappelman used, which was that Wendy's book was foreshadowing what was going to happen, which was her leaving Tallahassee. And I wish they could have gone back in time to see, did they make renovations in those 2 weeks? Did they go to Target and buy a bunch of new bedding for the kids? Did they buy beds for the kids? Did they make over the house in those 2 weeks that Donna was there, 3 weeks before he was murdered? Were they setting up their apartment in advance, knowing? Were they looking into schools? Like, it does take time to get kids registered for schools. Like, you do need to figure out where to go, but there was a school right across the street from their apartment. So, turned off my light. I keep saying I'm done adding, but I did want to just point out to myself that Wendy also apparently was spending an entire week, every other week, down by her parents or at her parents. So they may already have had bedrooms and bedding and beds and all that stuff. All of these are things that to me would be evidence of forethought and foreshadowing and knowing beforehand. But if they don't have that information because it was 10 years ago, but my God, look, even though that shit is blurry as hell, zooming in, I see her smiling at these questions. I see it. Right. That brings me back to the point I was trying to make, which was that somebody had said a comment, which, yes, I now just pieced it together, that it does make sense. It tracks. Which was, why would Wendy hold on to a busted TV for weeks, maybe more than 3 weeks? According to Jeff, it didn't look that expensive. It looked like a dorm room TV. He said, I'll run to Best Buy and pick up a new one for you. Like, it wasn't, and he didn't seem like he was some super wealthy guy, like Charlie driving a Ferrari. He was like, it was just a regular old dorm room TV, nothing expensive, not some $5,000 thing. That didn't at all sound like a $5,000 type television. And again, why would you hold on to something? So this is why I'm saying it's 3 weeks at least makes sense, because if Jeff and her were going to watch a movie together with the kids, that means they were still actively dating, okay? So there was 2 weeks off of no talking, and then they went on the date on the Monday, the night where she told him that her brother had actually looked into getting Dan killed for real in June of 2013 or in the summer of 2013. And it turned out to be the Monday, the week of the Friday that he actually did get murdered. Okay, but backtracking to before that, okay, so, and then he said that night, that Monday night, after she told him that, and this was after they hadn't seen each other, he said for 16 days, he get the email saying, actually, I need another week to think about things. Let's meet again on Monday. So he said, that's why I said that she framed her boyfriend, because according to him, they were still in limbo. I don't know. We're floating in this. I think we're broken up. It makes sense to just break up, but like, and he was still kind of in love with her. So he was like hoping, I guess, it would work out. And so he said, we had plans for that Monday, which never came to fruition because of everything that else happened. So again, those were fake plans as far as I'm concerned, that she knew that was fake. And her whole point was to try to paint it like a jealous boyfriend who can't let go. She's trying to break up with him, and he runs off and kills her ex. But lucky for him, he realized, you know what, and he wouldn't have ended up in jail for long anyway, even if he did get thrown in jail, because he was not guilty. But lucky for him, he left before he was supposed to. So that part of her plan got foiled, but it didn't matter because she had a backup plan. And whether Jane had told her that he had left, and so she was already clued into the fact that he couldn't have been there, or she didn't know, she had she was ready to throw those motherfuckers under, man. And she sure did. But my God, looking at the way she was smiling, blurry or not, those were smiles. So she must have had the TV broken for at least those 3 weeks. But it was weird the way she said, the TV he bought me this morning that got broken. And if it was a divorce present, and he said she was moving out of that house, which was a year earlier. So the TV was a year old. Looked like somebody smashed it. He said, Jeff said, looked like somebody punched it with their fist.
Mm-hmm. So it was the joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken. And I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay to fix it or whether I should get a new one. And it was always this joke that, like, he knew Danny treated me badly, and it was always this joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman, and it was cheaper to get you this TV, so instead I got you this TV.
So she's like laughing and smiling as she tells the joke, but then also right before she gives like the punchline, she throws in, he knew Danny treated me bad, so, you know, it's like she's going to tell the joke, but first she has to preface it with, well, he knew that Danny treated me bad. Like, phew, this bitch.
I mean, he would never. He's my big brother, and he's been taking care of me since I was little, but he would never. And I told that to the repair guy this morning.
Right.
Why?
That's okay.
I said, he asked me how much it cost, and I said I didn't know because it was a gift, because my brother said it was cheaper than a hitman. It was my divorce present.
What the fuck? Okay, hold up. It's 3:09. Let's see. I'm going back. This is at the 23-minute mark. It's 3:09. I'm scooching back to the very beginning. This thing started, okay. This thing, he came in there at 2:46. They listened to the voicemail. and stuff. She talked a lot about the trees and then bullshit excuse about how she got to the liquor store and, you know, crying a bit and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so here we go. This bitch, it is not barely 20 minutes in.
This is what happened, okay?
And you are talking about...
Daniel's been shot, okay? And we have to find out why and who did this.
Her ex was shot. She's talking about her brother made a joke. And she's a lawyer. She's not some backwoods Tallahassee, uneducated, y'all folksy, kind of inbred, you know, like they said the jury was. She's supposedly educated. So you're going to tell me she doesn't know that telling the cops that her brother made a joke about hiring a hitman wasn't going to be a thing?
Hiring a hitman, and it was cheaper to get you this TV, so instead I got you this TV. I mean, he would never... He's my big brother ever, and I told that to the repair guy this morning.
He would never.
It's okay.
He said, he asked me how much it cost, and I said I didn't know because it was a gift, because my brother said it was cheaper than a hitman. It was my divorce present.
Okay.
Such a horrible thing to say.
It is a horrible...
So
it is such a horrible thing. Wait.
Even my face...
Such a horrible thing to say?
Okay.
Such a horrible thing to say. Oh my God,
divorce
you are
present.
such a faking bitch.
Such a horrible thing to say. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
What? Hold on, I got...
Thing to say. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Such a horrible thing to say. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. See, I think she said I'm sorry the minute he said...
But even my family, who felt like I had been mistreated, would never do something like this. Never.
Well, you guys have been divorced for over a year. Has there been any type of abuse in that time?
Of him towards me?
Yeah.
No.
It's only me abusing
he's
him.
litigious, and we have an ongoing case because the house, it shouldn't be, I don't know, it shouldn't be in my name anymore, but when we got...
I have no reason.
Okay, so now this is the 27-minute mark. Now I'm looking for her saying being a suspect. So she's already thrown her brother and her family under the bus. Okay, now we're at 3:13, so it's just a few minutes later.
What's his middle?
J-A-Y.
Same spelling. A-D-E-L-S-O-N.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god.
What?
What? Oh my gosh.
What?
I can't believe this is happening.
Okay. All right. Let me go get the form for the...
Oh my gosh.
What?
I can't believe this is happening.
He's
Okay.
like, what?
What?
Wait. Because it was like a weird outburst.
Same spelling. A-D-E-L-S-O-N.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god.
What?
What? Oh my
He's like,
gosh.
oh.
I can't believe this is happening.
Okay. All right. Let me
This
go
is
get
not-
the form for the phone.
Do I need to be read my Miranda rights or something if you're gonna look at my phone?
I can read your
What?
mind if you want to hear
Wait,
it.
No, I just
Are you-
rights or something. Do I need to be read my Miranda rights or something if you're gonna look at my phone?
I
What?
can read your Miranda.
Do
Be read my
I
Miranda
need...
rights or something? Do I need to be read my Miranda rights or something if you're gonna look at my phone?
This bitch is a lawyer. Do I need to be read my Miranda rights or something if you're going to look at my phone? What? I mean, do you need a search warrant for my phone? No, because you're going to give, like, girl, what the fuck are you talking about?
be read my Miranda rights or something if you're gonna look at my phone?
I can read you Miranda if you want to hear
I
that.
don't know, I'm just trying to make sure I'm being
I have no reason at this point to suspect you in this incident. Okay?
I couldn't tell from the way you were talking to me in the car if I was a suspect.
Well, no, the reason was I didn't want to
wait,
you in this incident.
My hands are in the, she only heard the voicemail that Dan was shot. So why would she be thinking she's a suspect in the car?
Incident. You, Miranda, if you want to hear that.
I don't know, I'm just trying to make sure I'm being
I have no reason at this point to suspect you in this incident. Okay?
I couldn't tell from the way you were talking to me in the car if I was a suspect.
Well, no, the reason was I didn't want to get into everything until we got up here.
So it's really unclear to me, really, like, when did she find out that Danny was shot? She said something about when the police came to get her, they said Dan. Maybe they said Dan was shot. I don't know. But then when they got into the room, he said, I didn't want to tell you anything yet because, you know, I wanted to wait till we get here. And then he said Dan was shot. But then she had the voicemail that said there was a shooting on Trescott. It didn't say Danny was shot. It just said there was a shooting. So that's what I'm saying. Why would she be thinking she's a suspect if she doesn't know that Danny was shot? Why would she think she's a suspect if she doesn't know that Danny was shot?
I have no reason at this point to suspect you in this incident. Okay?
I couldn't tell from the way you were talking to me in the car if I was a suspect.
Well, no, the reason was
I couldn't tell by the way you were talking to me in the car if I was a suspect.
Okay.
I couldn't tell from the way you were talking to me in the car if I was a suspect.
Well, no, the reason was I didn't want to get into everything until we got up here.
Is he still in the hospital?
I really think she was, yes, genuinely nervous, but also fishing. I think maybe her saying, do I need to be read my Miranda rights before I hand over my phone? Maybe she asked that question because she was so concerned about, is she going to be arrested, that she said that as a way to, like, find out if he knows. Okay. She's talking about, I didn't know if you thought I was a suspect when she was sitting in the car. What do you think you're a suspect of? I haven't even told you anything yet.
I couldn't tell from the way you were talking to me in the car if I was a suspect.
Well, no, the reason was I didn't want to get into everything until we got up here.
Is he still in the hospital?
He's at the hospital, yes. Yes.
And he's alone.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Not yet. You got somebody here?
she wants to pee. They told her she can't.
Seriously? Okay.
Yeah, bitch, somebody was just murdered.
Sorry.
Seriously.
Okay.
We
20
just have
minutes
to
later.
eliminate everything. Okay, you know what she's saying, right?
I'm assuming I'm a suspect. I can't
No, you're not a suspect.
Okay.
I'm
I was wondering what that meant earlier because I had that clip in my other video, but I didn't catch the very beginning part. She wanted to go to the bathroom, and they said not yet. And that's what he said. You know what she's talking about. And she said, I'm assuming I'm a suspect. Okay. And he's saying no.
I don't consider you a suspect. I asked you to come up here. You came up here voluntarily. I'm not read you Miranda. You are not under arrest. You are the closest thing to family that I have to Daniel
I'm going to skip
right now.
now to the
Okay?
next.
You
All right.
are.
I'm so
Which is
sad.
Yeah, you should be sad that you're the closest thing to family.
And I get why I
You're
would
the
be a
murderer.
suspect, but the idea that we were divorced, but I would owning for their life
Sounds
that
like you all are
loved
doing
them.
the right thing.
get why I would be a suspect, but the idea that we were divorced, but the idea that I would ever do anything is like, I understand why they need to check, but I don't know who would though. I don't know who would do this. I could see why they would think it would be me.
Well, and I don't think, and did Investigator Isom talk to you at all about like what your role is in this?
Yeah, I'm trying to, I understand why I'm a suspect. I guess I'm not a suspect. I understand why you would think that I would do this, but not you, but
Right.
Wait, hold on. What was it?
just worried
What
about
she
the kids.
said about
And I'm
what your role
so
is?
sorry for his family.
I'm so sorry for
for
his family.
his children, who are now going to grow up without a father.
All right, so I backed up a little bit from before when she says, like, oh, I understand why they would think I'm a suspect, a couple minutes back, because I felt the first time I watched this, I thought, she seems irrationally scared that somebody's going to come after the children. I mean, she never said what happened, how did he get shot, where did he get shot, who shot him, I mean, she did the one time say, like, what happened. But as soon as he said, like, I'm trying to get more information, she broke down and she never went back and said, like, well, what happened? What happened? Where was he shot? How was he shot? Who shot him? Do you have any idea who did this? Where did they do it? How did they do it? What was the situation? What's his condition right now? What part of his body was he shot in? Like, she never asked any of those questions.
They haven't had any indications of that.
Do you think someone can watch the house where I'm going to be with the kids tonight to make sure that nobody comes after us?
We'll discuss kind of that type
Nobody
of stuff. I'm
comes
going to make
after
sure
us?
that they know all your concerns and fears.
No one comes after us. It just occurred to me. I wonder if her fear, I'm just wondering, like, because I did feel like she was irrationally afraid for her children. And, you know, I was feeling like it was put on. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I would be terrified for my kids too. I feel like I would just want to be with my children and go to the hospital, but that's me. Like, if my baby's daddy had gotten shot, I would have been asking a million questions, and I'd be like, can I go there now? Like, I need, like, maybe I wouldn't take the children there because it would be too traumatic. Okay, but those are the thoughts that I would be having. Like, we need to go see him right now. But it just occurred to me, you know, because also, like, as Dr. G pointed out, and she's talking about they, which shows maybe she'd known that it was multiple people, and he said, and it's turned out it was they. Maybe she was afraid that they were going to be like, let's go get this bitch's money and just kill them. But then, like, why would you want to kill them if they're going to pay you? But then, you know, maybe you want to kill them because you don't want them out there knowing that you did that. So maybe she was afraid that the hitman that she hired was going to come and hit her. Just a thought. Anyway, I'm going to just say whatever other additional thoughts that I might have about the rest of the video, I'm going to make in another video because it's 4:24 a.m. and the video's already like crazy long. So just FYI.
I just
take stuff one step at a time right now. I know it's hard.
I don't know how I'm going to tell them.
You know,
You probably do.
I can tell you this. I think it's going to be best
You probably thought about
for
it.
you, for their mother, and you seem very educated and put together. And it sounds like you've gone through a lot the past 2 years.
Right, because she
And
laid it on
kids
thick.
have been doing so well with everything. They're really like happy, well-adjusted kids. They've so many people in their lives
like
that
you all
love
do
them.
the right thing.
And I get why I would be a suspect, but the idea that we were divorced, but the idea that I would ever do anything is like, I understand why they need to check, but I don't know who would though. I don't know who would do this. I could see why they would think it would be me.
Well, and I don't think. And did Investigator Isom talk to you at all about like what your role
You saw
is
that
in
fake
this?
Yeah, I'm
ass.
trying
Let me go
to
back.
figure out.
Did Investigator Isom
fake
talk
ass,
to you at all
like-
about like what your
No, I don't know who would do this. I could see why they would think the idea that I would ever do anything is like, I understand why they need to check, but I don't know who would though. I don't know who would do this. I could see why they would think it would be me.
Well, and I don't think the investigation.
I don't know who would though. I don't know who would do this. I could see why they would think it would be me.
Well,
It's a little shaky.
I don't know who would do this. I could see why they would think it would be me.
well, and I don't think
Here's the part.
the investigator I
What's
talked to you all
your
about like
role
what
in
your
this?
role is in this.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Think
She's
the
trying to figure
investigator
out.
I talked to you all about like what your role is in this.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
And a lot of times they do stuff just to kind of cancel you out too.
It's fine. I understand.
Okay.
I understand. I just can't believe this is happening. So, I do best with being helpful. So why don't you tell me what I can do to help you?
Okay, so
Well, give me the parents' names.
And I get why I would be a suspect, but the idea that we were divorced, but I would.
okay,
I just.
apparently she saw her speak previously.
That sounds familiar.
But I had the boys there that morning, and that's why I like talked.
And I remember you talking about your boys actually too.
Well, it's good to see you again.
I'm sorry
What?
under these circumstances.
I feel like I'm in the middle of a nightmare.
This isn't something that anyone plans on going through. Or wants
Well,
to
she
go
did
through.
plan
We
on
were
it.
divorced. It wasn't good, but like, this is never something you would ever want to happen.
But you did, Wendy.
I understand why I'm a suspect. I guess I'm not a suspect. I understand why you would think that I would do this, but not you, but
Right.
Hold on, I want to see her face.
I understand why I'm a suspect. I guess I'm not a suspect. I understand why
I
you would
could
think
make
that
it
I.
brighter. Hold on.
That anyone plans on going through or wants to go through.
We were divorced. It wasn't good, but like, this is never something you would ever want to happen. I understand why I'm a suspect. I guess I'm not a suspect. I understand why you would think that I would do this, but not you, but
Right.
I'm just worried about the kids.
You're
And
just worried about the
So
kids?
sorry for his family.
Oh, there was something else
for
Dr. G pointed
his
out. That
children.
was such a good point.
Who are now going to grow up without a father.
That was your doing.
Like
I
that.
understand why you
But,
think I'm
but-
the primary suspect.
No, you're not the primary suspect. I have to work just as
20
hard.
minutes later, she's
whether
saying it
you
again.
were or you're not.
Okay, I
Okay.
understand.
To show they want you here.
Okay,
If you know, and you're not under arrest or anything like that.
I understand why you
But,
think I'm
but-
the primary suspect.
No, you're not the primary suspect. I have to work just as hard whether you were or you're not.
Okay, I
Okay.
understand.
To show what your activities were.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And let's put it this way. I think you're a straightforward person. And I think at this point, if you had anything to do with this, you'd have already told me.
Okay.
And you haven't.
And she's laughing.
So,
She's laughing.
and to do
Is
with
that
this
Duper
poor
still
person.
lying? Hold on.
And I think at this point, if you had anything to do with this, you'd have already told me.
Okay.
And you haven't.
She straight up laughed in his motherfucking face.
And I think at this
Hold
point,
on.
put it this way, I think you're a straightforward person. And I think at this point, if you had anything to do with this, you'd have already told me.
Okay.
And you haven't. So my thing is that let's let the
My ex-husband caused me a lot of grief.
My ex-husband caused me a lot of grief.
My ex-husband caused me.
so my thing is that let's let the
My ex-husband caused me a lot of grief. I would never do something like that.
I know.
I love how he says, I know. When you know damn well he knows she could have and she probably did. And I think she did.
And it's
So
gonna.
I understand why I would
Okay.
be the person you would think would do something, but
Well, we have to work just as hard to eliminate
it's
people.
fine. I want to figure out who this is because
Right.
I'm honestly worried.
Well, let me ask you. If you found out that this was someone that you personally know, would that change your mind about what should happen to that person
About what should happen to that person?
for prosecution purposes?
No.
Your
Her
mind
laugh.
about what should happen to that person
About what should happen to that person?
for prosecution purposes.
No.
Is there any way that you would think
if
somebody
tried to kill my ex-husband, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
regardless of who it is?
I mean, it would be different if I thought it were my brother, but I don't think it was my.
She's about to throw her brother under again.
No.
Is there any way that you would think
if
somebody
tried to kill my ex-husband, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
regardless of who it is?
I mean, it would be different if I thought it were my brother, but I don't think it was my family. Anyone outside my immediate family, that's a tough one.
Okay.
But I don't think.
Her brother and her family. Here we are at 4:48. So it's an hour and a half in, and she has thrown her whole family under the bus. Gus. Then we get to her friend Jane McPherson comes in, and Jeffrey Lacoste comes into the conversation, even though she's been feeding Jane stories about Jeffrey Lacoste being batshit crazy and jealous.
The car, so he drove me, and I started, like, I wasn't
This is where she says she thought she was a suspect in the car. Why would you think you were a suspect in the car when you didn't even know anything happened, supposedly, until you heard the voicemail, and then until he told you it was Dan, you didn't know anything. So why are you thinking you're a suspect in the car? Okay, yes, it's weird as hell to have police come and get you from your lunch, but I'd be like, what's going on? What happened? Is everything okay? Are my kids okay? Like, I would be nervous. I wouldn't be thinking I was a suspect unless I had done some shit, you know?
Said, I need you to get in the car. So
Maybe
he
that's
drove
just
me,
me.
and I started, like, I just was like, what's going on? And they're like, your husband. And I said, ex-husband.
Also, Dr. G pointed out she was about to say, I wasn't crying. Why would you say that?
I just was like, what's going on? And they're like, your husband. And I said, ex-husband. And they're like, ex-husband? So they didn't have the, like,
Well, I mean, how do they know? They're just starting this.
so they thought we were still married. And so I was telling him everything, you know, and then I was thinking, oh my God, now they probably think I'm a suspect. I should.
Wait, they said your husband. She didn't say your husband is shot, your husband is dead. Maybe they said your husband is shot? I don't know. She just said your husband. She didn't say, what did they say about your husband?
But of course you're a suspect, and you're.
Everything, you know, and then I was thinking, oh my God, now they probably think I'm a suspect. I should.
But of course you're a suspect, and you're a smart suspect. You should be the suspect. But you know, I mean, you're not gonna get framed for a crime,
Right.
you know, and it is in your absolute interest to, in every way,
Tell them
everything, because to the extent that if they don't know whoever did, if this goes unsolved,
And I think
that's the worst thing for your
so
boys.
many things, Jane. Like, do you think whoever did this is going to come after the kids?
right here.
I'm very worried about that.
Why would they come after
And
the
I think
I don't want to be, like, left alone in that house. Like, I want protection, and I'm scared. I don't know who this is. I don't.
Okay. Well, I mean, you should maybe go and stay. I think you should go stay. Can you go to Lynn and David's?
Alan, yeah,
Yeah, you
they
should.
have lots of bedrooms. I could just.
You
stay
should.
there
I mean,
for
the
a little
boys are there.
bit. Yeah.
And
I need to pick up a
They
few
need-
things. Like, I would need my contact lens case.
just go there. I mean,
I'm really glad you're here. I am losing my shit.
I wish they'd
Jane,
come back.
this is. They keep doing this where, like, they leave for long periods of time, and it's 5:30 already.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here for a while. I didn't know if, like, I don't know. Are you looking to see if there's more info
No,
online?
I haven't had this from Danny. From Kara. So I called her.
I talked to Kara yesterday. I was taking a walk around 5. I met a new friend last night, a friend of a friend, this girl Malia. We went to Tallahassee food trucks.
Hold on. She went out the night before. When did she have this laryngitis? Okay, so now Jane's finding out there's a shooting. Hold on. There's a part where she's talking about... Okay, so I'm going back to the beginning. This is 307, and she says they. This is what Dr. G had pointed out. She calls whoever did this they.
Did this. Not because they hate Danny, but because they thought this was good somehow. And I'm so scared that maybe someone did this. Not because they hate Danny, but because they thought this was good somehow.
So this is where he's like, do you think somebody, your friends would have done it? But also, so, you know, yes, they can be singular because she said someone did this, they, but why also is it they? Why is she referring? Well, maybe she meant someone they as singular. Right, but then we jump ahead.
I'm just worried about the kids.
Here, where we were before.
I'm so sorry for his family.
And she
and for
says,
his children, who are now going to grow up without a father. And I have no idea who would do this, and I feel like they're out there.
she said,
And I have no idea who would do this, and I feel like they're out there.
she said, and I have no idea who would do this, and I feel like they're out there.
And I have no idea who would do this, and I feel like they're out there.
I feel like they're out there.
And if they're capable of this, like, what's
And if they're capable of this,
to keep them from going after
what's to keep them from going after
the kids? Like,
the
if they hate
kids?
Danny, then why wouldn't they?
Like, if they hate Danny, why wouldn't
They
they
hate his children.
hate his children? I don't know. Maybe you could ask yourself that. Bitch, you hate Danny. Do you hate your children? Your mom hates Danny. Does she hate your children? I don't know. I mean, Jeff Lacoste said hating Danny was your family's pastime. So if y'all all hate Danny, then why don't you hate his kids? That makes no sense. And what do you mean? So she is calling the murderer they, and as Dr. G pointed out, it was a they. They were they. She knew that.
And, you know, they're doing this investigation now to kind of figure out what happened.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do it to himself. There's no way he did it.
Again, they didn't say anything to her to make it seem as if he might have done it himself. And she didn't ask any questions about that. So, weird. Usually you can kind of tell. I mean, obviously, sometimes you can't, but you can rule suicide out. Okay. Let's see. Confirming Danny is expected to die. Jane is on the phone.
Hey, it's me. So I'm just updating you. Danny is expected to die.
The advocate, the victim advocate, who probably knows Wendy's guilty.
Don't tell anybody else, just keep it to yourself. I know that you're...
There's Jane McPherson's voice off the screen. She's on the phone, and Wendy's in the bathroom.
No, he's... Right, no, he's... Wendy, of course, I mean, they've been interviewing her as a suspect, and I have suggested Jeff Lacoste. That's my confirmation. And also suggested that we get a rabbi over there. Because he's alone, he doesn't have family here. This is really terrible. It's really terrible.
I wonder
There's
what
nothing
she's
you
going
can
to do
do
when she
that I can
finds
think
out.
of. Wendy's got, I mean, they brought me here to get the kids, but I thought, God, the poor children, they won't know me, and actually probably.
Well, you know, they're used to thinking. A lot of times things will happen like burglaries, or they deal with suspects who aren't cooperative and don't, you know,
That's that
give them my
for the
stuff back.
suspects.
Yeah. Do you mind if I talk to her? Like, I'm sorry, I just keep feeling like I'm a suspect and I need to ask. Like, no.
She finally wants to call her parents, I think.
And she'll probably call you after you send her this text.
She called her parents. It was her mom. It was fake, but I'm not even going to play that.
I'm gonna run out of batteries.
That's like the old sound from the cell phone. One last thing. Maybe I will show her call. She's talking about the picture and then of Jeff Lacoste. They bring in a picture of Jeff Lacoste to make sure it's really him, and she says yes. And then she says it looks like a mugshot.
Relatively soon.
I'll be out of here soon.
She's such a bitch.
I know, it's probably
Weird like to see Jeff's picture. Like, it looked like a... Yeah, okay.
Can't wait till you see your mugshot,
Weird like to
bitch.
see Jeff's picture. Like, it looked like a weird mugshot. Like, can you... Picture, like it looked like a weird mugshot. Like can you? Dear God.
Can you what? Can you what? Are you trying to get her to say? Can you picture it? Can you picture him? Let me see if I can find the place where she had her mugshot. I don't know if they showed it. They showed it later. I showed it in yesterday's video.
Okay.
You got the owl shirt on.
No, I think it's shock reaction. You know, right? Shock reaction?
Yeah. Oh, and I'm a shaker when I get upset. So yeah.
I usually shake. I really don't. Okay, here it goes. This is the worst day of my life.
Is it really?
Maybe I should text them if I can't reach them. Hi, Mom. How's it going? Mom, I need you to sit down. I am fine. The boys are fine. I need you to sit down. I'm fine, and the boys are fine. Danny has been. You can put me on speaker. Yeah. Danny has been shot. And I don't think he's gonna make it. And so I know. So I found this out around 1 or 2 today, and I'm at the police station, and I'm trying to help them figure out who may have done this. The boys are fine. I had Lynn and Alan pick them up from school.
Wait, she just said I found this out at 1 or 2 today?
I know. So I found this out around 1 or 2 today.
1 or 2 today. Okay, it's 7:09. Let's see, we're at the 4:23 mark. Okay, it was 2:46. So that could be another little tell on herself. It could be a little tell where she actually slipped. She did know previously. That's why. She probably did find out at 1 or 2, which is why she was driving by, because she fucking knew that he was dead. He was shot. Let me let it play, and then I have a couple thoughts.
I'm fine, and the boys are fine. Danny has been. You can put me on speaker. Yeah. Danny has been shot. and I don't think he's gonna make it. And so I know. So I found this out around 1 or 2 today, and I'm at the police station, and I'm trying to help them figure out who may have done this. The boys are fine. I had Lynn and Alan pick them up from school, and they're with Lynn and Alan right now.
That bitch said, I'm trying to help them figure out who did this. You're trying to help them figure out who did this? I don't think so. You're implicating your brother, your parents, your boyfriend. So I think this is cool. So that's why I have myself all the way on the corner over here. Let's see, I'll make myself a little more centered. I think the mom's reaction was canned and planned. I think her telling of it was also scripted, and the way her mom was like interrupting her and she didn't even really get to sit, like, I don't know, it just seemed not real to me. The first time I watched it, I thought, she's so guilty. All her little outbursts of crying and things like that, like, it seemed more forced to me than genuine. And you may see on my channel, I just posted an almost 2-hour video of all the reasons why I think she is guilty. And obviously other people do as well, even though other people say, oh no, there's not enough evidence. But I disagree. I don't have the evidence, but I feel like, considering I'm able to scrape up this much stuff, and I don't even have the actual proof, I'm sure Georgia Kevelman and her team, like Charlie said, she hired a team. Yeah, I'm sure her team has evidence. So Catherine McManawa said that the idea came from Charlie. However, I believe that Charlie is going to finally reveal, well, actually the idea was Wendy's, because it benefited her. It suited her needs. She was the one who got to move 9 hours from that little blip of nothing in the middle of nowhere on the way to civilization, which she thought of Tallahassee. She got to move. So moving 48 hours later, just like when she served Dan Markel with papers and he was in New York City and he came home to his home to find half of the furniture gone and his wife and children not there at home. They'd moved out and there were divorce papers on the bed or on the table or wherever. And she took in a bunch of their stuff. You know how much planning and secrecy and cunning and backhanded backstabbing, just like being a cheater, just like I said in the other video, being a cheater. No, it doesn't make you a murderer, but being a cheater makes you somebody capable of a lot of deception. So she learned about the murder at 1 or 2, like she said in her police interview, which started at 2:46. And it was like 3 o'clock by the time he actually told her. If it was true that she knew, then there you go. More circumstantial evidence that she had prior knowledge. And the police interview itself is also evidence that her so-called reason of driving by Trescott to get to the liquor store, because that's the only way she knew how to go, is a lie, because she says in the interview herself, sometimes she goes that way, sometimes she goes the other way around. So she absolutely knows the other way around. So if you know the other way around and you know shorter ways to get there, why are you driving by your ex-husband's house when your children are at daycare and you're going to a liquor store, even though you were already, 17 minutes across town, but you're going to drive, like I said in the captions of the other video, if it's 17 minutes to get there, that's almost 20 minutes. That means it's almost 40 minutes. And then you're going to be in the store for 5 or 10 minutes or whatever. So you just made a 15-minute thing going to take you an hour? Who does that? Who drives almost 45 minutes or an hour for a fucking bottle of liquor? Like, the idea that this whole storyline, that she's so incapable of finding her way around. You're quite wealthy. You can drive. You have a nice car. You're telling me you don't have a GPS? You were able to get a law degree, and you can teach law in a university, but you can't figure out how to go around, even though you said it in your police interview yourself. Sometimes you do go around. So if sometimes you do go around, and Jeffrey Lacoste said that you used to drink your dinner and that you did drink heavily, and you live 15 minutes away now, and you've lived 15 minutes away for over a year, and you're cunning and sly enough that you can literally plan divorcing your husband while he's away on a work trip. He was supposed to be at a conference. That's what they said. He was supposed to be at a conference or at a talk or something, and she drops a bomb on him, and he leaves the conference to come to a half-empty home. You're capable of all that, but you can't find a liquor store a couple minutes away from where you are? And it just so happens to be the so-called excuse for why you just happened to be driving by your husband's house right after he was shot. Your ex-husband's house. You tried to drive by. No. So I just did not want to make another 2-hour-long video, but I did want to look a little bit more at these calls, at this interview, and I'm going to put the video together now, and what usually happens is through my editing process is when I start to say, oh, what about this and this and that and the other thing. So maybe I will, or maybe I'll just try to make this like a faster video, and then if I have a lot of thoughts about it, I can come back to it again or something like that. Okay, see you.
Place a fairy might live.